Two youth organizations, the Northern People's Congress and the Afenifere Youth Stakeholders Forum, have dismissed the ongoing recall effort against Kogi West Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, citing the overwhelming turnout of her homecoming rally as proof of her strong support among constituents. Speaking to journalists after the event on Tuesday, despite reported attempts by the Kogi state government to halt it, leaders from both groups asserted that the recall initiative has effectively lost credibility. Yusuf Alero, chairman of the Northern People's Congress, and Kehinde Olatunde, coordinator of Afenifere Youth Stakeholders Forum, emphasized that the sheer number of attendees demonstrated the senator's popularity. In a joint statement they made available to journalists, they said the thousands of people who trooped out walked long distances on their own was a clear indication that Senator Natasha is cherished and loved by her people. What we saw was an organic love expressed wholeheartedly by the people despite the fruitless efforts of the powers that be. Having initiated the kangaroo recall process, their plan was to stop anything that would prove to the world that Senator Natasha's constituents have no hand in it. However, they failed woefully as the people defied intimidation, defied the associated stress, and trekked long distances to this place. The Kogi state government and their accomplices should be hiding their faces in shame right now. They have been exposed before the world that they are not on ground in the state, despite the mago-mago electoral process that brought the current governor into power. The Igbo groups cautioned the Independent National Electoral Commission to live up to its name and avoid making itself a willful tool in the hands of politicians. All eyes are on the compromised INEC under Professor Yakubu Mahmood. He has never conducted a credible election in Kogi State, they said. However, with what happened on Tuesday, the INEC does not need to be told that the people are ready to put their lives on the line to defend the mandates they gave to Senator Natasha. It is no longer business as usual. This particular case is business unusual, the groups declared. Ugochukwu, what do you make of this story?
Nigerians are playing with words. You know, I love Nigerians. They make use of words even more than the Igbo people that manufacture those words, especially when it comes to our political terrain, you know, where they use the words to banter themselves and they use it for the purpose for which it is used for. So, and Natasha Homecoming has said it all, you know, having defied all odds by navigating his way through the air. You know, that's why I told you here that I don't know those who are advising some of those politically exposed persons, especially the governors. You know, when they want to place a ban on convoy and they make use of the road and gathering and all that, you could see the acres of bush that were cleared, where the helicopter landed and where they use an uncommon and an unusual venue.
Orthodox.
Yes, orthodox
method.
People can improvise when there is organic love.
Yeah.
I heard when you read it out, it's an organic show of love. It's the kind of what I can use in, you know, exemplifying it is what happened in Alabama when Nyesom Wike went to that side of Okreka last month. It was organic, despite the fact that there were efforts to mar that occasion. But you could see that it was. You could see even I was even saying that some of the people that even came out to protest went home, took their bet and came back and rejoined.
What brings to mind when you talk of organic love being shown by the people? I will use a very unpopular politician in Nigeria because of his the way his tenure ended. But when his tenure was about to start, and that is Rucha Sokorocha.
Yes.
You recall the saga that happened during the election that brought that, and that election was rigged.
Yes.
And Imo State University students flooded the streets. Women went half naked. Where I come from, the women were half naked. They led their breast bare and they only tied wrapper on their waist. And they defended their votes. They cried out until INEC cancelled that election and there was a rerun.
A rerun, yes. The one they call supplementary.
And the masses came out. There was supplementary election. They voted and stayed under the sun. Women stayed. People stayed. Like, Imo State was shut down.
Yes.
And they had the supplementary election, and that was the first credible elections I've ever witnessed. That election was very emotional,
yes.
because Rochas was loved because of his philanthropic nature
yes,
at that time. So people voted, and when that vote was counted, I think it was against Hakim. It was against Hakim. It was landslide.
Yes.
Like, an incumbent was way below, and a first-time politician in Imo State. It was a landslide. Like, it was, the difference was like between Antarctica and Diobu in River State. And you know, you could see the streets, everybody was jubilating. You know, it was a win for the people. You know, that's the only thing that can come to my mind at this point when you talk of organic move of the people.
It was even more than what happened after OT1. It was, it didn't come close
to when OT won.
Yes, it didn't. That OT didn't come close to what happened during Rochas time.
Yes, Rochas was epic.
Yes, it was.
It was epic.
It was because the people stood, and they know Imo State being Catholic dominated and Anglican, so they stood firm after the event of Hakim and the
beating a priest.
Yes, that was the last stroke
that broke the camel's back. But then, can you liken what happened in Imo State at that time to what happened in Kogi State with Senator Natasha Akpoti?
Yes, it's very obvious, because you couldn't say that those people were bribed, because I was the priest I was working under then. I do represent him in the Rochas Foundation meeting. I was seeing Rochas eyeball to eyeball. He was down to earth, as he the nature of politicians when they're seeking political position. So he will serve us food. He will do all manner of things. When we go
in the case of Natasha,
I'm saying that people were not bribed in Imo State. Then people were even contributing towards funding the election. So in Natasha's own, nobody was. So the mobilization was just. It was just we are coming home, and you could see the short notice. Maybe they have been planning this for a long time. We didn't know. But the short notice with which they gave and the turnout, you could not equate it. You will say that people were not. This one is not about mobilization. It was not about the mobilization. We know.
Mobilize that number of persons.
You understand? You understand it.
Of people that
came.
Now that brings to mind the votes. The recall process, the number of persons that the president signed that recall petition, and how fast they were able to get their addresses and phone numbers. I mean, INEC came out today and said they don't have address and phone numbers,
the
next day these things were provided. Like, how? And you're talking of Kogi State, and you're talking of that number of persons. Now, that brings to mind 250,000. How are you able to gather all that within 24 hours?
From what we have read, you know that the recall process is dead on arrival, and the Kogi has been towing that line. Remember the attempt made on Dino Melaye for his recall. We didn't see the light of the day, and you know that Senator Abu has been lashing on the Senate President lately, revealing a lot of things. Remember that he also apologized to him and even tried to reconcile with him and have a soft landing. But having seen somebody who is seeing what he saw then, who is now having a collaborator, and he has suddenly found his voice. And that will also help in nailing the Senate President from what we are, from the facts that I imagine now. So, but the love that the people showed Natasha, it did not start during that homecoming. You recall that when she vied under SDP, she had that support.
And the road, the government
so,
the road,
yes,
stop electoral
still, she did it. So, so when people love you, when you there is how Oyibo people say, they say you endear yourself to the people's hearts. That is what it is. So you can't take it away, no matter how you manipulate it, no matter how you try to, you know, go about it. Somebody that loves you loves you, irrespective of. That is when they say love has don't count on errors. And people have now come out knowing that something tragic is about to happen. They are coming to reinforce and reenact what they did in 2023 general elections.
Homecoming in Kogi State was more like a statement to INEC and to the Senate President and every other person and the government. And
then the governor, not even the governor, the Yaya Bello and the Senate President. The governor here, he might be the lame cat. I mean, Dodo might be the lame cat, but Yaya Bello has not forgotten what Natasha did to him. And also for Natasha, how the APC tried to envelope Kogi State, you could see a woman, not even a man. Even the vote she garnered, the Dino Melayes of this world, they not garner it during when they tried their hands in the governorship election, and how he chickened out when Smart Adeyemi came calling. But today you see that the woman has taken a Kogi State by storm.
All right, interesting times ahead in Kogi State with regards to Natasha, Kogi State government and the Senate President. Interesting times ahead. We'll keep you updated as the story unfolds. But we have to wrap it up at this point. Sadly, we are out of time. Thank you so much, Ifeanyi, for coming. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you. Welcome again. And I'm happy to see you. And I know Rivers people are very happy to see you.
Thank you.